Testing. Okay, good. Welcome back to Roadwarden. We are going to continue the journey. The United Church teaches that the path of fulfillment leads through obedience, strength, and courage. All right. Oh, no, the music might be too loud for you guys. I can never really tell with this game. Okay. It's loud in my ears. You're wandering through the village. On the islet in the center of the village, an old woman is telling a group of children a story about the lethal shouts of howlers. A man is showing a teenage girl how to chop firewood with a bone axe. I'll talk to the tailor? I don't even remember. I thought we traveled. If I remember correctly, we had done a little thing like this where like we had completed a few quests. And we're over here in Howler's Dell. I think we already talked to the tailor. And we don't have the money. I think. Let me see the inventory here. Like, yeah, we've got plenty of food rations, but yeah, we've only got 4 coins. And then also, wait, let's see. Here in the journal, we completed the escort the scavenger. But we're getting so many quests. We have to explore the peninsula. The villagers from Howlersdale are willing to sell linen and sturdy clothing in exchange for a squad of soldiers. They're already well off, and as long as they won't be forced to follow the United Church, they're open for trading negotiations. They're like, we want your money, not your religion. A new life. Wanted to escape my difficult past. Wait, okay. I mean, some of these quests are just so open. Like, how are, it's just there, I guess. Okay, yeah, we need to find the Roadwarden. I'm kind of just skimming this really quickly. Well, I've heard in Pelt that right before his disappearance, the innkeeper gave him 50 dragons for some sort of investment. And he was last seen in the White Marshes, a village in the northwest. I kind of feel like this is my main goal. I want to find the previous Roadwarden. And then Howlersdale has banished him. Yeah, I remember we talked about that. She doesn't like him. Like, he took off with their money or something, or what was... Oh, no, he failed to bring a girl or a woman to a location, and he barely made it out alive. They got attacked on the way, and she died. Anyways, okay. Akakios. Well... Yeah, I kind of feel like let's travel and go find. Let's try to find this guy. Oh, we need to go to, where is it? White Marshes in the northwest. Okay. Well, this is north and this is west. I guess we'll just go west and see where that leads. The path gets greener and meanders between treacherous precipices. You ride slowly, passing by birds and ibexes, but in the distance you spot circling harpies, and below you a roaming mountain cat pursuing a mouflon. You take a sip from your water skin. The air here is a bit dry. I love the sound design. I love how you leave the town and you get all the nature sounds. And I also love all these weird creatures that are, we're encountering here. But okay, let's hope that the echo of hooves won't reach any larger beasts. The path leads you down again to a small, moist valley, impenetrable for a rider. The thicket is made of thorny shrubs, tall grasses, and the weak fallen... Testing. Okay. Sorry about that. I don't know how long my microphone was out of commission, but sorry for the sound there. Okay. I gotta figure out some better system with this microphone. I've tried so many times to fix it, but we'll manage. Okay. Here we go. The remnants of the path covered with greenish puddles. Without the roots and with a fresh layer of pebbles, it may still be restored. Oh, wait, no. You look behind you. The road is clear, no ambushes so far, but if you hope to clear this place, it'd be better to do so soon. It'll only get denser with the passage of days. I should be done in 2 hours. I'm not afraid of getting tired. I'll get this done in half the time. I'm going to take I don't have any... I'm not in a rush. Oh, I did. My rations, I ran out. Okay. Your muscles not used to such tiring work grow tired quickly. So you take a few short breaks, avoiding the thorns and dirty water. When it comes to pushing aside the boughs, you breathe heavily. But you need only enough space to let your palfrey get through. Maybe the animals will start to roam this place again, beating the path. Actually, before we get too crazy here, I'm going to have a food ration. There we go. Also, wait, my appearance is really bad. Sweat and dirt. But I seem healthy, so that's good. Oh, this is interesting. Okay. You reach a convenient mountain pass with crags smoothed out by centuries of rain and wind. The sun warms up both the vegetation and the beaten road, and the only beasts you spot are loud rooks glancing at you from the rocks and branches. That's like a type of bird. It looks like a crow or a raven. It's in the corvid family. Clearing the rock slide would take hours of work and a large group of people, while forcing Duskrunner to climb up and down could break its legs. All right, I dismount and look around. You climb up the rocks, having plenty of spots to rest your hands. Most of them won't move even an inch. As you get closer to the small dead tree, you notice something odd among the stones. Pieces of old fabric, completely covered with mold, most likely the remains of a tunic. Huh. But wait, why would the fabric be covered with mold? Okay. Oh, I can seek shelter here. All right, let's do that. It's too dangerous to stay here. Oh, you can't sleep here yet. You have to find a safe place as soon as possible. You can find the closest shelter in Howler's Dell. Wait, I have to go back? I probably should have thought of that before I left. What? Okay, you ride through the open gate, then swiftly dismount. Some of the locals greet you politely, but they keep their distance. Oh, and now they don't trust me because... Oh my god, this is so stupid. I'm getting punished for not checking the time because it's almost dusk and I need to go to sleep. Okay, you spend a few minutes with Duskrunner before you reach the square. Someone clears their throat. You turn toward a man in his 50s with large hands, an elegant beard, and no hair. The stable master. He both introduces himself and answers an unspoken question. You frown, then realize that you indeed saw him before and your palfrey was nicely taken care of during your first visit to the village. Or rather, I'm one when 'tis necessary, but I'd rather grind flour, he says with annoyance. You do not think your beast waters itself, brings itself water from a storehouse and cleans its own shit. No, that takes time and hay. If 'tis, he points at your companion, it's not going to work out for you. You better have a pouch at hand. You look behind you. The stables are not much more than an open shed with piles of planks, 2 donkeys, and a bunch of napping chickens. Would a dragon bone be enough? He nods. For one day, aye, that's fair. He looks around, rubbing his hands together. Here you go. I'll pay him. He nods with gratitude and throws the bone into a leaky bucket hanging from a nail, then grabs a wooden pitchfork. I'll let him work in peace. You're wandering through the village. A short-tempered hunter tries to explain to his parents that there are no bears where he's going. An upset Mouflon is beating time and again, waiting for someone's attention. All right, I go into the main square. You approach the inn. It's getting darker, but not much colder. More than a dozen locals are gathered at or by the tables, playing dice or other games, drinking, eating supper, or simply chatting. The innkeeper is standing behind his counter filling mugs with beer or buttermilk, while his daughter's cleaning the tables with a wet cloth and carrying around a bucket of stream water. Thace is standing near the bank, giving commands to a group of armored guards. The trader is packing his goods, though with no rush. He's talking with a man who's sewing sacks on a nearby stool. The scavenger is sitting on a stool, using his knife to turn a log of wood into a new cup. Well, I just want to go and sleep. I don't want to be talking to people constantly. Wait. Oh, sleep is here. This is what I need. Sleep. What do I need? There's a lot of noise outside, and you can sense a heavy, unpleasant smell coming from the cauldron. At least the fur is fluffy, and you can cover yourself with your blanket. I'm just worried I spent all my money, and I don't want to spend more. I already, spent it for the palfrey to be housed. So, all right, let's go to sleep. We can also just go to the river and bathe. Hey, Vlad, what's up? Antisocial Tyler doesn't like to speak to people. Still, hey, Tyler. Wait, what do you mean? I'm not antisocial. Oh, I'm antisocial in the game. Well, because I've been I talked to all those people already, and I don't want to repeat dialogue if there's nothing new, and I'd rather go do a bunch of stuff first and kind of get the story moving, you know. But yeah, like most people, you wake in the middle of almost every night. Before your second sleep comes, you spend an hour or two taking care of your belongings, shell and soul. Some people spend this time with their friends, families, or lovers, but your routine is different. If you don't have to take care of essential tasks, work out? I'm not going to work out. What? I've got long journeys ahead. I could go outside, observe the stars. I could check on Dusk Runner. I could also pray. I could also just stay where I am and breathe. How about I just do that? All right. Oh, and I'm run out of food already as well. It's warm here, but the mouflon skin allows your back to rest a bit. You wake up a couple times during the night. The smell of cooked stew fuels your hunger, and the staff returns to the room once every hour or so to stir the pot. You wake up early but leave the building to check up on Duskrunner and give it water from the creek. The innkeeper is sitting near the door, from time to time carrying out another bowl with either stew or gruel. Thace is nowhere to be seen. The scavenger is sitting at a table eating gruel from a bowl. I don't remember the scavenger. Actually, hold on. I can look at... is it in my journal? I can see humans. I don't see a scavenger, right? Let's go talk to the scavenger. Hey, Roadster. Need anything? How are things? It's not bad here. Not bad at all. They bought what I could sell, but I now have to plan out what to do next. I don't care. I'll wait for a couple of days, craft some things, rest from the forests. I'll leave when I leave. He scratches his cheek and beard and finally sighs. But I do feel like I've eaten a troll shit, eh? When I landed here, I had my pile of bundles and trinkets, and now I'm starting with nothing again. I should have listened to the warnings. This land belongs to no man. All right, tell me more about your travels in the peninsula. You must understand, you're a roadster. People ask you for help. They don't think you'll steal from them when they're in their beds. He pats his bag. It's not the same when you're a drifter. They don't ask me to stay, to marry their kids, or to help them with the harvest. They just ask if I plan to pay for the room or buy stuff. We talked for quite some time, though it's difficult to uncover the details hidden in his tale. He claims he and his pack bird came here by boat, about which he refuses to speak. He landed just next to Gale Rocks, a large fishing village near the northern shore. The people there were irritable and unwilling to idly chat with him, but opened their mouths after he helped them at the smokehouse. On sunny days, the locals hunt on the shore, and when it gets dark, they hide behind the walls, gutting the fish. When the weather goes to shit, they boil water for salt and put fish in it, then hop to the barrels, though I don't know why. They don't have many trees around. Then they sell the meat to the villages and, places. He clears his throat. For crops. Let him continue. I was told to stay away from White Marshes. The no-shell told me why. I joined a group of fish traders who were going to Old Pagos and its monastery. I hate that place. Bah. Everyone does. He shrugs. I traded there for a bit. The villagers are cold. They spend days praying and talking on and on about their duty and are gray like an ashworm. So I left at dawn, me and my bird, and wasn't that a mistake? He was attacked by a short, bear-like creature. He tried to run away, but following his bird was a bad idea. He fell over in the thicket, so the monster had time to get him. I hit it with a bolt. Wasn't enough. I kick it, so it bites my legs, tears my flesh away. I almost dozed off from the pain. Can you believe it? The lazy bird came back and charged at it with its beak. His dagger was enough to get through the surprised animal's belly. It ran away. Oh, hey 27, what's up? Welcome in. How'd you survive with such deep wounds? The bird was patient. It let me lean on it. My ballista scared Griffs away, and we got to Howler's Dell. That's where I found the elders. They agreed to heal me, but only for coin, and told me it's an exception. After a few questions, you're sure that by the elders, he means the local druids, held by the villagers in great esteem. They didn't want to talk with me a whole lot, said I'm impudent. His tone is filled with mockery. You hear that? I spent time with Thace. At least she wasn't so boring. So why did you leave Howler's Dell alone? It wasn't smart to move to the ruins all by yourself. I shouldn't tell, and I won't. You already know all that you need to. Tell me about yourself. He's like, I could tell you stories for days, but who cares? He chuckles. I'm just doing my own thing, moving from wall to wall, sleeping where they let me, selling what I can, buying what I need, saving dragons for another day. I used to be a sailor. People called me Puros because of the, he points at the burned skin on his forehead. But I'm not one to push a plow or patch ship sails all day long. Oh, wait, this is the guy that we brought here. Or no? We escorted a guy here. Actually, wait, I can look that up right now. In the journal, in our quest, the scavenger. And he gave us a potion. Okay, I really like that there's this journal. that really helps a lot. Okay, where were we? But I'm not one to push a plow or patch ship sails all day long. I don't care if a corpser eats my bones one day. I'd rather be free for a few years than cage myself in fear for decades. And I'm damn good at staying safe, or rather I was, before I landed in this shithole. He touches the scars on his face. I haven't gotten one of these in years, but it didn't take 2 weeks and I almost lost my legs. Spent all my coin in Howler's Dell for Elder's magic. Not the first time I have an empty pouch, not gonna lie. But there's no coin waiting here. Once I push all the iron to the locals, I'm heading south, though I won't ride alone. I'm not making that mistake again. I've heard no ships can land on this coast, or I can say he's probably lying, but I don't let him know that I've noticed it. I have another question. I'll just go with the first one about ships. Well, he tilts his head to the right and gives you a distrustful look. If you're patient and take your time, you can get to the Gale Rocks from the sea in a light boat or a raft, or something that can avoid the rocky teeth. Sure, no hope for a ship, or any trade, but with some help you can do it. But don't tell anyone I told you that. His tone gets significantly colder. It's not something people should talk about. I nod. I have some questions. We can talk. Go ahead. Bye. What? Did I? What? This is like perfect video game NPC behavior, you know, where like you say something and then you walk away and you come back and they have no idea, or like, I have questions. All right, we can talk. Goodbye. I don't know what happened there, but yeah. Oh, maybe I could get some food depending on. Oh wait, I already have rations. Right? Okay. 14 hours before dusk, day 3. First of all, let's eat another ration. You can't use your inventory right now. Why not? Why can't I eat? Okay. Why can't I travel either? Why can't I travel? I just rested. Oh, here's travel. Oh, okay, I have to click out of, if I'm like too zoomed in, I have to actually click out to the main whatever town level. Maybe I can do it now. There we go. Boom. That was a bit confusing. But yeah. What are you doing, 27? Separating your underwear from your brother's? Important work. Yeah, wait, do you have labels to do it? How do you just have such different undies that it's obvious? Okay. Let's get on our way. Let's finally travel. Let's go back to the rock slide. Whatever was going on here. The rock slide has made the path impassable. The shrubs above you try to withstand the cold. Refreshing wind, maybe? Wait a second. Okay. Well, that was a waste. Never. I just wasted like an hour or two. I have no idea. Look, mistakes were made in the gameplay. All right, this is not a perfection run. You have mostly different brands, 27. That helps. Though I also like the idea of like you taking a Sharpie and labeling yours or something. The road is beaten and free of litter. You notice paths between the fruit-bearing trees on your right, and soon after that you ride alongside vast fields of broad beans, almost ready for the second harvest of summer. Then there are the green hemp plants, taller than you are, waiting for a scythe or a sickle. The locals keep the beasts at a distance, I guess. Okay. Dusk runners' hooves thump loudly on the beaten track. The green bushes, shrubs, and trees prove that the soil here is fertile, yet the plants don't overgrow the road. These crossroads must be busy at times, maybe even patrolled. In the distant west, you see the mountain peaks dividing the lowlands from the ocean. The road east leads toward the hills, behind which there are unusually tall, dark trees. There's a dense forest in the north from which you hear the croaking of toads. The last path is already known to you. You're surrounded by 4 signposts, all of which seem to be made from the same type of wood, now covered in moss and fungi. Yet the pictures and letters that cover the nailed boards are nothing alike. What a weird... Okay. I'm not like... Okay. There are hills, but the hills must be quite small if there are tall trees that can be seen from behind the hills. Or I don't know, maybe they're like really tall trees. Are these like sequoia trees? And there's a forest in the north, and I can hear toads croaking. I guess is the forest really close then? Because like, okay, look, I'm overthinking it. All right, which way am I gonna go is the important thing. I'm more interested in the tall, dark trees. The road east, but no, I want to be going northwest. There's a dense forest in the north. The last path is already known to you. Wait, in the distant west? You see the mountain peaks dividing the lowlands from the ocean. Okay, we'll do that one. We'll go west. It has 2 planks attached to a single post, both of them nailed with rusty steel. The lower sign is divided in 2 halves. The left edge is engraved with 4 simple shapes, squares with roof-like lines hanging above them. The other edge bears 2 engraved piles, one of them made of horizontal rectangles, the other of inexact circles. You don't recognize the letters between those 2 piles. The upper plank is covered with 2 short words drawn in white paint, and right below them, an engraved vertical rectangle with an hourglass inside it. I appreciate the detail, but I also kind of wish they had drawn it. Because I'm like, it's hard for me to understand this. I search the area. Let's do that. The thicket doesn't help. You notice the remains of berries and pears, but most of them are already rotting, spreading close to the wooden stools at the side of the road. The nearby creek is not impressively deep, but the beaver dam, for some reason taller than you are, makes it wide and waters the surrounding soil. A few steps away from the southern signpost, you find something sticking out of a shrub. It's a moist plank covered by fungi. You try to move it with a stick and a gloved hand. After a minute or so, you confirm it's an abandoned sign, covered with green letters and colorful pictures of flowers and trees. Yeah, that's the sign I want to do. I take another look at the destroyed sign. It's covered with green letters and colorful pictures. What? I mean, you already told me that, though. Why would I take another look at the destroyed sign? Okay. All right. Well, there's only so many looks you can take, and it turns out that the first look you had pretty much had all the information. So, I don't... I try to find out where it used to be attached. The southern post is the only one with holes left by nails. That's the post I came from, right? Let me look at the map. Right? I came from the south. Okay. Well, okay, wait. So in order to travel, I need to come over here and click. Let's do this. You cross a clean, shallow, yet wide creek that runs south, then follow the uphill path squeezed between the hills and the lush forest. You spend a good couple of minutes passing a haunting meadow, filled with dozens, maybe 100 cut-down trees. Now overgrown by bushes and grass, you can't think of another time when you've seen a clearing of such size. Seems dangerous. If this goes on, the animals will join forces to strike down whoever is responsible for this. What? Is this like Princess Mononoke, where the forest comes to life? The locals are surely ambitious. I wonder how far they can push it. Let's pick that. Oh, I heard like a noise. Oh, there's some growling noise. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Once the clearing ends and turns into a corridor of trees and hills, you stop your horse. There's a monster in the middle of the road, reaching out with its long arms to grab and devour fruits and leaves from tree crowns. Wait, there's a monster? Chewing them without haste. It's standing on its hind legs and leaning on a thick tail. As there isn't much hair on its gray skin, you see its impressive muscles. The beast is 3 times the size of a human, and while each move makes it slow, its long claws and the ease with which it breaks one of the branches makes you think that a single swing would be enough for it to pierce through your jacket, or, just as likely, that it would simply break your bones and send you into the air. Like most people, you know quite a bit about pebblers. Once they get used to an unfenced farm or a forest garden, getting rid of them can be a huge issue. There aren't many blades able to cut through their thick skin and bones, and a single mistake may put them into a furious charge, encouraging them to look for human dwellings which they can tear down in revenge. These animals, or this monster, is motivated by revenge. This is Princess Mononoke. The beast doesn't give you as much as a glance, but also doesn't move away. The best you can hope for is that it's going to walk away on its own. Maybe tomorrow, maybe later. Facing it in a fight would end up badly. I return to the crossroads. Okay. What the heck? Let me see. So we can't go that way. So basically, where I want to go to find the Roadwarden is kind of blocked off. You know? So let's just go north. Some parts of the road lead uphill, some downhill. The forests are lush but not too dark. The few foraging deer and boars keep their distance, and the birds are disinterested in your presence, singing cheerfully and preening their feathers. Sounds of an ongoing hunt reach you from the east, but none of the nearby creatures seem bothered. Wait, a hunt. Okay. Once you get farther north, the colorful meadow reveals tall hills on the other side of the stream, but the road leads through a valley. There's a gentle plume of smoke coming from one of the mountains in the west. It doesn't look like a place on fire. Maybe there's a settlement in the mountains. All right, let's go. The road leads to a gentle creek filled with the buzzing of flies, mosquitoes, and gnats. You don't spot any critters among the tall meadows, tree branches, or rocky slopes. Seeing the shapeless dark vortex of wings, Duskrunner snorts. You're currently on the southern bank. Why would I ride with a blazing torch? Is that to kill or to scare away the mosquitoes? I guess, I don't know, whatever. It will take some time, but I'll wrap myself up with every piece of clothing I own. I don't care. I kind of feel like if I do the I don't care options, I'm going to be punished, you know? But wait, do I have a torch? What do I have? I've got like tools, root. That's a hook. I mean, I don't actually have a torch. Or is it in my travel set? There's a candle there. No, but it has like a teeth cleaning set. Yeah, I have some candles. I look for a different route. How about that? The path is barely squeezed between the hills, with no signs of settlements or game trails, and the grass is too tall and dense to allow you to ride safely through the wilderness. You won't reach the other bank without entering the swarm. I guess, going north is probably worthwhile. So I will take some time, but I'll wrap myself up with every piece of clothing I own. How about that? Or should I do the torch? Because Duskrunner is going to be... Okay, we'll do the torch. Maybe that'll also protect Duskrunner and not just me. You move away from the creek, get on your feet, and unpack the tinderbox, the wooden stave, and the set of rags, as well as the oil. After you assemble a torch, you sit down on the ground, preparing the flint and the linen char cloth. Decades ago, before the southern invasion, people used fire strikers made of thick steel, but all you have is a cube-like piece of harsh pyrite. Not ideal, but good enough for a couple of sparks. Holding the fire, you get back in the saddle. You swing your weapon left and right. There isn't as much smoke as you expected. Let's put it to the test. Come on. Once you get closer to the ford, countless creatures beset you, filling your eyes, mouth, and nose, hitting you like a squishy, buzzing hail. You ride forward blindly, instantly forgetting about your preparations, trying to get out of here as fast as you can, but the insects are sticking with you for much longer than the smoke. This is honestly like what it was when I went camping in the summer. We had the worst mosquitoes I've ever experienced, and I hope I never experience again. It takes a few minutes for you to escape. The red marks on your skin start to burn. You get down to put out the torch by rubbing it against the beaten track. Duskrunner swishes its tail angrily as it gives you a reproachful look, pinning its ears back to its head. Unless you find an easier way to protect yourself, the insects will keep slowing you down. Well, that didn't help much. Wait. I escape by going backwards? At the very least, I could have just gone straight through. I could have just... Well, that didn't help much. So, okay, wait. What? What about this? Oh, no, I did make it through. So now we can continue north. I'm having trouble following some of the game mechanics, all right? Like, knowing where to click is kind of tricky, but yeah. For most of the time, you're surrounded by yellow meadows. The trees on your left get sparser, while the few lonely birches on your right still bear the signs of tapping, marked with knife cuts, tied with cords. Some of them still carry wooden vessels as if they were simply abandoned, maybe last spring, maybe before that. A few of the trees are already dried out and the winds managed to knock them down. Birch sap. That's a thing here in Finland. Although I don't think I've ever tried birch sap. I'd like to one day. As you get closer to the crossroads, the ground gets muddy. The beaten path avoids the wetlands as much as it can. The screeches and hisses mix with the buzzing of insects, and as you reach a small pond, there are signs of blood on its bank. Okay. The air is moist and heavy and has a hint of rotting meat to it. It may still be early, but it's better to avoid the bogs when nighttime approaches. Such places rarely have fine roads. Okay. The trees and bushes are sparse here, growing from the barren grasslands. Some of them bear late summer fruits. Bogs are darker than forests. The local creatures start their hunt up to an hour earlier? Okay. A group of wayfarers is spread around the broken signpost and the abandoned cart. They are skinny but healthy and are standing upright. They're wearing humble, dim gambesons on top of their hemp tunics and pants, all of them worn, in some cases undyed, while others are dark green or brown. 4 of these individuals wear cloaks and are armed with spears, bows, and stone maces. On their necks, wrists, and belts you spot small talismans, fangs, bones, wooden beads, leather straps. There's also the 5th figure, standing a bit in the back with lowered shoulders. Unlike the others, they're hooded, and in such a manner that you doubt that they can see anything other than their boots. Like Aragorn and the prancing pony. Their clothes are shabby, torn, but your eyes mostly run to their club, a bow as long as its owner is tall and as thick as a leg, resting with one end on the ground. You get closer, and the person raises the weapon with just one arm, but another traveler gestures for them to stop, and they do so right away, freezing in place. So I stay in the saddle, just in case. The man behind the gesture doesn't approach you, just nods. Safe travels, stranger. It may still be time before the evenfall, but bogs aren't safe. Better keep moving. You'll find an inn. You try to digest his thick accent. He's broad-shouldered with a large belly, but the scars on his face sculpt an image of someone who's earned their share of food with many skirmishes. He doesn't reach for his weapon, and pushes one of his companions closer to the cart. She kneels by an empty box and looks inside it. The man observes you with a little curiosity. I'll be playful. Nice place for a camp. The air's a bit smelly though. Okay, that. You know what? I don't like that joke. I'm gonna veto that. I nod at their cart. Need any help? That's more natural. He makes an annoyed grimace. Not really. Timber's sickening, moldy and wet. We're checking on the place, but seems to bad year for it. He looks at his companions, who simply shrug and spread to take a look at the cart. All but the one with the bow, or bow. That word keeps coming up, so let me it's annoying me that I can't remember how to spell it, or pronounce it. Bow. Bow. Like the bow of a ship. Bow. It's confusing because you could make a bow or a bow. out of a bough. It's just a branch. That's all it is, right? Okay. Bow. He looks at his companions, who simply shrug and spread to take a look at the cart. All but the one with the bow, who doesn't move an inch. I canna say I've time to loaf. You've questions, ask, but be quick. Don't put us to sleep. You from around here? Very much so, and you're new to these roads. You know our home. I'm like, no clue. White Marshes, 'tis there. He looks at the crossroad leading east. An old place. Plenty fish stories there. Wait, fish stories are plenty of stories. But they rarely reach the ears of strangers, especially these days. How can I reach White Marshes? It's not so hard if you have bones or food with you. Ride down the road, turn left, and take a gift to Thyrsus, the warden of our peat field. He'll open the creepers for you. Seeing your look, he carries on. They're on the right path, one that'll take you to the village. Anything dangerous? Water-hide saurians, don't let your horse drink. Just stay on the road all the time. One of the women chips in. And don't follow voices or lights. Weird beasts lure humans into death. And don't touch the creepers. I'm getting a little overzealous with the accents, alright. I'm annoying myself. We don't welcome many travelers, nor hope to see more of them, especially adventurers. And we need all the lumber we cut, he frowns. We've herbs, I guess. What can you bring? Are you in need of food? How about some animal trophies? Iron, maybe some copper, weapons, odds and ends, trinkets, herbs. Wait. I mean, I have food, like rations. I have more food than iron, or sorry, than whatever dragon bones, whatever dragon coins. So I'm going to pick that one. He pretends to yawn. We're doing fine. Used to counting on ourselves, at least since. He thinks for a moment, then sighs. We've most of what we need, other than iron, steel, bronze. Bring those, we'll welcome you. Well, you could have just said that instead of having me read like 14 options to offer. He then stretches out and gets closer to the signpost, using his spear as a walking stick. Well, stay safe, stranger. He raises his voice and addresses his companions. We wasted too much time on this froth. Time to get back. What does that mean, froth? I only know froth meaning like the top of like the foam on a beer. Or like soap. The others prepare their own weapons and join their guide. The one with the bow, excuse me. See, I can't remember how to pronounce it. Stay silent until a gentle gesture commands them to follow. They keep up with the rest of the group, dragging the club behind themselves with remarkable strength. After a few more days, there may be fruits and other plants to pick here. We prepare for the journey. Okay, that's it. All right, I guess I gotta travel. There were more questions I could ask, but... Did he say to go east? I don't remember which one was... Whatever, we just go. We need to get to this this place, whatever it's called. We still have 8 hours and 45 minutes before dusk, so I think we're safe. You leave the wetlands behind. The pebbled road runs through the hillside, with tall grasses and rock faces above you, and dark, lush forests below. Chunks of this path were shaped by human tools, who knows how many centuries ago. To widen it, the builders dug through the uneven boulders and used rocks and logs to fill up the cavities with thousands of rocks, each one smaller than your fist. While you have a good view of what's happening between the trees on your right, the bushes and shrubs grow so densely between them that you can't imagine entering these woods on your own. Farther south, there are plumes of smoke. A settlement, most likely. Wait, am I supposed to go south? I want to go to the White Sands or whatever it was called. At the top of the hill, you reach a stone wall, a quiet place with no smoke coming from behind it. You look inside and see the glimpse of a peaceful ruin. While the main road is beaten and easy for hooves to trod, the destroyed gate and the remains of the front yard have almost been reclaimed by the short grasses. You seek any suspicious movement, but the place seems to be free of inhabitants larger than a falcon. The air is fresh, and the wind shakes the tree crowns gently. Enter the yard. The hamlet could be a hunter shelter, a military outpost, or a storehouse for traders, but you spot no fresh human trails. The damaged door and gate are years old, soggy and moldy, and judging by the squirrels, birds, and the animal feces you see in the grass, this place is but a part of the wilderness. The roof collapsed only a few years back, turning into food for mushrooms. The outer wall looks generations old, but it used to be maintained. Some of its materials came from different times and areas. I enter the building. It's a simple chamber with no furniture that would explain its purpose. The fireplace is buried beneath the roof. You inspect the walls made of hundreds of small rocks dressed with a chisel. The trash is heavy from the moisture. You pull it with your boot, what starts a commotion among gray, disoriented bugs. Removing the rubble would take some effort, but for now it doesn't look like there's anything of value left behind. With enough wood, a group of boulders could restore this hamlet in just a few days. A group of builders. You hear a rustle coming from the backyard. You look through the crumbling wall and notice the movement of reddish fur. Not a tall creature. What? Not a tall creature, but it has reddish fur? I go behind the building. Wait, I prepare my axe. Yeah, I'm a Boy Scout. I'm going to be prepared. Its touch calms you down. The sounds of animal steps are careful and light. I go behind the building. The chaos sparks right after you approach the tree stump. The dusk fox's growls sound like a mix of an obnoxious bird and an infant. One of the animals, standing only a few feet away from you, is jumping and showcasing its tiny, sharp teeth and a raccoon-like black mask on its little head. The animal, with its thick brownish-gray fur, seems more stout than any red fox. The second loud creature jumps onto a table made of a halved trunk. Unlike the first one, it has a brighter golden fur. It bends one of its forelegs, observing you with its dark eyes. Not furious nor scared, rather sad and protective. Its growl turns into a miserable whine. The beasts are not even waist high, but their number may be an issue. There's yet another sound coming from behind you, and even more from the bushes nearby. Okay, no time to wait. I cut them as quickly as I can. I need to block their charge. I raise my hands and prepare myself to strike back. I step away and try to count them? I'll do that. Look, I'm being cautious here. You take a quick glance and evade the creature in front of you as it tries to bite your leg, but you then feel the bite on your calf. The third fox was standing right behind you. While it's loud, it's also lumbering about, not trying to hold you in place. The noises from the bushes belong to little pups, most likely harmless, though they are doing their best to imitate their guardians. You take a step back. Since the one behind me already moved away, I run for it? No, I'm taking them down. They bit me. I cut one of them. You dash forward, but not as quickly as the fox jumps away, using as a shelter the large brown mushroom. Okay. You try to reach it with a swing of your axe, but then feel the teeth tearing the armor on your forearm, period. The golden creature's weight makes you lose focus, giving enough time to the third opponent to bite your leg. Again? It hurts. But since the animal is already weakened, you manage to free yourself with a single kick. Wait, why is the animal already weakened? I mean, I haven't landed any hits on them. The dusk foxes spread. The two pups keep their distance, piercing your ears with their yelps. Their protectors growl at you, warning you to withdraw. Oh, shoot. You're barely standing. This is embarrassing. I'm the Roadwarden, but I get taken down by a couple foxes? Like, what the, why is this even here? I'm fighting them off. I'm not running for it. With the axe in your hand, you're observing the beasts as they move to new positions, looking for their weaknesses. The pups stay far behind, relying on their protectors. The weakest dusk fox is near the bare tree, hoping to repeat its previous attack. The golden one remains in the corner, but is now jumping from seat to seat, as well as onto the tree stump, and keeps growling at you. The last one, which seems to be the bravest, remains in constant movement, pretending to attack you, then moving back. Okay, I have to be faster and trust my blade. I take the initiative, keep moving, cut whatever I have a chance. Or I need to use all my strength. I'll let them get close, ready to cut only a few times, but for good. Or I need to rely on my gambeson, focusing on protecting my legs and hands. With a few lucky hits, I can scare them off. I think because, look at my health. It's so low, I probably should focus on defense and lure them in and get a few lucky hits. I'm going to do that one. Oh, I'm dead. You're on the verge of death. The brave fox is quick and nimble. You try to keep it at a distance, aware that another fox is approaching you from the back slowly. But then you get hit by the golden critter, which is clinging to your armored shoulder with its claws and reaching for your neck. Like, this is ridiculous. Who made me the Roadwarden? I can't even handle a couple foxes? Oh my god. Your fine armor is not enough to stop the pain, and as you raise your arm, the fox manages to reach your skin with the edge of its teeth. The blood doesn't gush, just flows out on your chest, so you're conscious enough to grab the creature and throw it away. You hardly manage to stand straight, especially as the weakest beast is now also biting your leg. You kick and swing your arm, setting yourself free, then run for the gate with a painful shout. Your horse is already starting to warm up, snorting at you with fear. I get in the saddle and flee. Well, that was lame. Wait, so... What the hell was that? Okay. Now I'm almost dead after being bitten. This is like typical Dungeons and Dragons experience. You know, you'll almost die to like the most basic level opponent. You're squeezed between the hills and the forest. The only larger beast you spot is a single saurian basking on a boulder, lazily observing you from a safe distance. Your ears catch the howls coming from the north, long and loud, and as you keep an eye on the rock ledges, you almost miss the drastic shift in the landscape. The forest turns into a lake, and the few plants growing next to the road mostly bear fruit. The road's not as reliable here as it was in the hills. Parts of it are a bit muddy, and the puddles disturb your ride. Maybe the locals will maintain it before it gets swallowed by the lake. Okay. What's this? The deep, loud yells of howlers are piercing your ears, concealing any other sound in the area. They're sitting on branches and in the tall grass, not really trying to hide. Their thick black and gold furs cover their entire shells, aside from the charcoal black faces with roundish, flat noses and wide nostrils. The younger members of the pack are about the size of your mount's head, but the larger ones would be chest high if it wasn't for the fact that they walk on all fours. Their long tails are like an additional arm, helping them climb, hang from the branches, or hold food while they eat. They aren't particularly muscular, but when they form their pink lips into the shape of a cup to release their howls, their mouths are so wide they could fit your entire arm inside. As you listen to the shouts, you reach for your head. You feel a weird itch, but somehow you can't scratch it. Keeping my distance, I take a look at the hide behind the boulder. The whitish raw hide covers the grass like a blanket, surrounded by paw prints. The howlers don't wait for you to approach it. One of the larger ones jumps on the ground, leaning on its hands and challenging you with its gaze. It has rather blunt teeth. I'm too exhausted to face howlers right now. Required vitality of 1. Wait, how do I improve my vitality? Is it by resting? Yes. Low vitality stops. Sleeping and resting is how I get it back. So, let's travel. Where was the river, by the way? Wasn't there a river where I had put the fish trap? Did I ever get the fish from the river? I remember that. It wasn't the ruins, right? It had to be out here in Howler's Dell. Or was it here? No, it had to. Okay, let's go back to Howler's Dell and rest. Fine, I head to the stables. Here you go. He takes I go to the main square. 4 hours before dusk. What about... Okay, I'll go to the trader. About the potion. Did you get it? Wait, I thought I got a potion. Oh, he wants me to get a different potion. Okay. I'm being bothered by the howlers. Anything to plug my ears. Oh, I get wax earplugs. And you cannot just avoid them, I guess. With a raised eyebrow, he reaches for a yellow candle and plays with it with his long fingers. You know they eat plants, not meat. Shouldn't be too dangerous for a warden with a mount. Lend me your axe. He cuts off a few chunks of wax, removes the wick, and gives them to you. Here, roll these in your hands, warm them up, make a shape you want. How about some useful herbs or ointments? You do have druids around here. Will not happen. Spare supplies. He puts a finger to his lips, giving it a slight bite. The druids are better at casting healing than making balls. Used to be different, but magic's stronger regardless. Before you can change the topic, he points northeast. Try by White Marshes. What's his face? A warlock there, who used to take lessons at our village, from the old archdruid. If anyone around here knows his way around leaves, 'tis him. I don't think I have anything to sell, but let me just check. Yeah, pack my things. I want to sleep. Nothing for now, I walk away. Let's see, what does he have for sale? Oh yeah, stuff I can't buy. Okay. I go to the innkeeper, I guess. How do I sleep? I leave the square. I just want to rest. Yeah, there's nothing I can talk about with people. How does... Why am I thought I could sleep here. But apparently not? But I don't want to travel. Also, I don't know if I can travel. Or I guess I can travel from here. But I want to sleep in the village. Maybe I could go here to Pelt of the North. But I already paid for my horse to be taken care of here. Oh my god, this is so stupid. I'm kind of getting frustrated with this game. I don't feel like I'm really in control. I feel like the game is like arbitrarily deciding things that I'm like, I would like to stay and sleep, but there's no way I could pass the time. And I don't know how to get my fishing trap, because I would like to check that to get some food or something. But anyways, I go into the inn. Any leftovers? Not today, maybe tomorrow. Oh, I can sleep. Let's do that. Just sleep on a bench. Does my vitality go back up? The sounds of rain wake you up briefly. Before you return to sleep, you think about your plans. Riding the mud's difficult. Duskrunner will have a rough time, especially on the unpaved grounds. It may be a good day to take a break at an inn. You hear a thunderous roar. You rise to your feet and rub the sleep from your eyes. The doors are opening. People are shouting orders and words of warning. As you open the window, you see what's behind the commotion. Something is on the other side of the wall, trying to get through, and the guards are fighting it off with their torches, spears, and crossbows. Thanks to their light, you see the large furry paws placed on the top of the wall. On the top of the wall walk. As far as you can tell, the beast is but a single leap away from getting inside. It's not their first night. They know what they're doing. I'm on the verge of death. I think I have a valid excuse not to help them, you know. It surely looks so. The guards are organized like a group of dancers, switching positions swiftly and using words that mean nothing to you. They pierce the creature's shell with their long weapons, and one of them does her best to chop through the furry paw with an axe. After maybe a minute, the beast gives up and takes its limb back to the group's cheerful laughter. For a second, I thought when it said it takes its limb back, I was thinking the limb got cut off, and then the creature's like, that's mine, and grabs it with the other limb and then walks away. But I think it just means no. It just leaves. Its limb is fine. That's the kind of skill I would expect from a team living in the middle of nowhere. All right. Dude, what? Why didn't my vitality go up? All right, we'll have some food rations. Rest. Oh, wait. No, go back. I want to check for leftovers. Not today. All right, let's rest. I only get a quarter? Oh, wait, can I use my Pneuma? Hold on, let me look. Let me see. Can I... magical amulets. No, I can't use them. I was thinking maybe I could heal myself. But there's no option, I think, to do that. That's fine. Let's rest. Dude, those foxes just punished the crap out of me. How was I supposed to know? Alright, a relaxing day but free of boredom. You spent almost an hour looking after your mount, but at least it's now clean and cheerful. You patch holes in your bundles to the soothing sounds of a late summer drizzle. Every now and then the hunters invited you to a friendly chit-chat asking for stories from the wide world. The open windows fill the hall with refreshing air and the sounds of conversation. The innkeeper sitting behind the counter contemplating an empty mug. Alright, let's leave. Let's go. Oh wait, no, I need to sleep. Oh, if I pay... Oh, I have to pay rent to get my vitality back? I might as well, I guess. I'll also get my appearance back. Fine, let's do that. I'm not happy about it, but... It's a calm, warm night. As your first sleep ends, you stretch out and prepare yourself for an active hour or two. It's time to take care of some things that must be done at least once every few days, though they are a bit more challenging than your nightly routine. I gather my amulets and focus on my breath, practicing how the pneuma flows through my shell. Oh, I thought something was going to happen, but no. Any leftovers? Nope. Okay. All right. That is fine. Also, yeah, my appearance. Still pretty bad. Let's travel. I'm so lost. Like, I don't know. But let's do this. I want to keep going in this direction. The lakeside is filled with the chirping... Wait. If he's deep in the gameplay, he'll forget to eat? Wait, me? Or no, I don't know. Maybe you guys are chatting about something else. Okay, well, I'm deep in my gameplay over here, so... But actually, wait, this is a good time. I need to take a quick break, get some water. All right. Oh, wait. Let's keep going. The lakeside is filled with the chirping of cicadas and crickets, as well as the roaring of beasts from the northern hills. Farther down the road, you see tall yellow grasses, interwoven with flowers and bumblebees, while the peaceful water shines just as much as the wings of dragonflies. This road is often traveled, and the dark clatter of hooves carries far. Thanks to the vast field of view, the creatures hiding in the meadows are unlikely to jump on an animal as large as Duskrunner. In the distance, you see a palisade and a large building set on the side of a crossroad. Once you get closer, you hear a conversation from behind the wall. Two men are arguing about if they really just heard a horse. Maybe they know some useful rumors. How about that? Okay. Duskrunner carries you toward the open gate on its own, welcoming an opportunity to rest by pushing out the air loudly through its nostrils. A nearby wooden pen won't offer much space for a horse, but should be enough for grazing and a nap. As you dismount, two men get up from the front stairs. Their clean-shaven faces reveal that they're in their early 20s. The first one's taller than you, broad-shouldered, and wears light brown pants and a dark jacket, both of them made of leather. With an inviting smile, he gets up and moves to open the enclosure. His steps are heavy and slow, but every moment is marked with care, ensuring you won't knock down anything or anyone. The second man looks as different from his colleague as the sun from the moon. He's unusually short and wears a heavy cloak made of black fur, so large it could cover his entire shell. He opens the door of the building, hides his hand, and peeks into the room. "Foggy?" His voice is shrill and unconcerned. "A messenger. Come." I take off some of my bundles and let my horse rest. A hanging barrel sways in the wind, marking the place as an inn or a tavern. The building resembles a merchant's house from Havlaven, whitewashed and with oiled, elegant wooden beams. The fragile walls are high enough to avoid floods and snow, but you've no doubt that a troll or even a pebbler could very easily break through them. The palisade is short, has hardly any support, and has no walkway for crossbowmen, hardly enough for even a makeshift hamlet. Yes, it's the open harbor that makes you uneasy. Aside from the fish, any creature, aquatic or not, could just walk into the yard, undisturbed. The path is covered with paw prints and claw marks. Better not to leave Duskrunner outside during the night. A black and white bird swoops into the water, then flaps its wings and takes off with a silver twitching creature in its talons. The large man clears his throat. "And what have we here? Coming from afar, friend. Are there now horses and howlers?" His voice is stentorian, close to a shout. You vaguely recognize his accent as one found at the city harbor. I'll be playful because he's Far, far away indeed. You can't see it from here. What? Are there horses and howlers? Far, far away indeed. You can't see it from here. Oh, coming from afar. Okay, I was trying to place like if he was making a joke about the horse, but okay, no, he's not. He puts his hand to his forehead and pretends to look out for something above the lake. But I do see well enough. The city hides in your voice. A long way you had. You hear heavy footsteps. A woman shows up in the doorway and looks at you from the top of the stairs. She's even more towering and stout than her son, the man who just welcomed you, with a massive chest and a pear-shaped face with a prominent chin. Her movements are composed and confident. She may be older than 50, with a mixture of gray and dark blonde hair. She has only one arm, the left one, notably muscular, and with a hand so large it could likely chop off Duskrunner's head with a single strike, or crush yours like a berry. Through the slit of her robe made of creamy worn fur, you spot her trunk-like legs. She runs her eyes over your blade, armor, and mount. Her lips form into something of a smile, distorted by the scar that runs through her mouth. The tall guy looks a lot like her. He spreads his arm, forming a chain between you and her. Meet Foggy, friend. Ma, the riders come to us from Havlavin. Such long way. His powerful voice turns timid, and he keeps turning his head from left to right and back. I bet you're hungry, eh? The woman looks at him with amusement, then glances at your palfrey. If you're after food, I hope you know how to hunt. The land here is barren for us, but it's a feast for boars, squirrels, and sparrows. She vaguely stretches out her only hand. What brings you to Foggy Lake, love? Just stopping by? Her voice is hoarse, like that of a traveler who spent too many autumn nights in cold tents, yet carries a hint of motherly concern. I close the animal pen behind me and head towards the stairs. You won't find another shelter in this part of the Dragonwoods, especially not in creeks. She scratches her broad chin with sausage-like fingers. You drink? I'll offer another witty comment. I make a single loud clap and rub my hands together. I wouldn't dare to insult your hospitality. Her brief, powerful laughter is enough to scare away the birds from above the lake. Your mount lets out a fearful snort. You have to visit creeks, dear. They will love you there. Come, share a story with me in a mug. Without waiting for your response, she walks inside. A tall man takes a deep breath. Go ahead, we'll take care of your horse. He encourages you with a gesture. And by that, he means we won't do anything with it, adds the man in black fur. Whenever his screechy words follow the deep voices of his companions, he sounds like a brat. We won't be feeding or washing beasts that aren't going in a stew, but we'll keep an eye on it. They find new spots to rest, the side of a boat and a stool near the palisade. I ask if they're going to join us. The large man chuckles. We don't have any guards. We need to stay sharp. No drinking, no leaving valued possessions behind. He nods toward your horse. We'll feast in winter when we get a break from this place. He thinks for a moment. Know what? We're planning a humble hunt, he says. For someone with a thinking soul. Come speak with us once you're done here. I nod and go up the stairs. The narrow segmented window shutters let in a lot of light without letting the beast inside. The air is humid but carries not a hint of putridity. The heels of Foggy's boots make her steps thunder even though the planks don't creak. Make yourself at home, she says without looking at you, heading to the trap door in the corner. I'll just grab a little something. Your ears catch the screeches of hunting birds and the wind that leaks in through the windows, but other than that, the room is quiet. Oh, is this the trap door down here with the casks? And there's like a loft up here with furs. Okay, cool. I investigate the main hall. The room's crammed with stuff. The bear pelt on the ground would be a nice resting spot, but the place doesn't look like a real home. No chests, no cabinets for clothes, no tools or toys for simple crafts that would fill the time during rainy evenings. Living with so many windows in winter would be a struggle. One could clear this place in one morning and move all that's worth saving onto a single wagon. The only things of exceptional value are the cauldron, made from pricey steel, and the hanging head of an insect-like monster. Oh, that's what this is. That's an insect monster. Its mandibles don't move, the dim eyes seem intact, and its armored head tells a long story of survival through scratches and cuts. I look where the ladder leads. You climb up the simple rope ladder and reach the attic. It smells like a haystack. The floor is covered with animal furs, bags, and clothes. There's a soul sitting in a corner, a bearded man in his 20s, who has only the right hand, though unlike the tavern keeper, he has kept the rest of his arm. His sleepy eyes observe you without a word. After he greets you with a nod, he starts to put on his boots. Okay. What's in the basement? The meager light hinders your view. There are dozens of barrels, sacks, stone tools, bowls, and pieces of roasted fish or bird meat. Foggy notices you, but doesn't say anything. She looks for something among a bunch of bottles. There's a couple more animal trophies placed on the top of the barrels and leaning against the walls. Fangs, claws, monster heads, and a lizard skin. Quite a collection. Okay, sit at the table. You take a glance at the blood on the table, the scattered yellow feathers, and a bowl of guts and talons. You find yourself a clean stool. Foggy shows up soon, smiling, holding 2 cups in her hand, a bottle in her fingers, and a cloth under her shoulder. She puts everything on a stool and wipes the table clean. Forgive the mess, just a part of the job, she explains without a hint of apology. I'd rather dress birds in the yard, but the blood lures beasts. Sometimes the folks from creeks brings us meals, but we need to take care of ourselves. She throws the bloody cloth back into the bucket, making a splash, then sits down on a stool, making it look like it was made for a doll. She rests her elbows on the table and looks you in the eyes. Her voice is warm yet intrusive. So, who am I dealing with? I introduce myself. The bottle removes its seal seemingly by itself. The wax floats in the air briefly, then lands on the table gently, without a word. Without a word, she pours a thick liquid into the cups with her only hand, but doesn't offer you your drink just yet. I'm looking for Asterion, the previous Roadwarden. She looks at you for a longer moment, without the slightest movement. And why do you think he's here? Is he here? Her face darkens as she scratches her knee. Don't upset me. He could have been swallowed by a toad for all I know. I'm just asking for help. While her voice remains calm, her thin eyes get distrustful. You've scared me a little bit. I don't want any nasty rumors. Sure, some of those who travel through Foggies disappear on the road, but it's a safe place. We don't hold slaves. She waves toward the trapdoor. You can check and see. Wait, I don't think that you've kept him as a slave. That's such a random assumption, but okay. What can you tell me about him? She rests her only hand across her stomach, which you identify as her version of crossing her arms. A customer and an errand runner. What's there to say? Your additional questions don't get many more answers. She brings up the man's looks and equipment without adding much to what you've already learned from Tulia. He was paying with dragons, rarely bartered, she adds. That's what city folk do, eh? Seeking riches, then locking themselves in a chamber, prisoners of their might. I smile. Well said. Her chuckle makes you think of a wolf's growl. When was the last time you saw Asterion? She glances at the window. Same as the others. In the late days of spring, we were waiting for his return, me and all the villages. Then moved on. I have no idea where he went. All the villages, you say? She turns toward you with the fierceness of a bear. That's what I said. Did he do any jobs? I don't know why she's aggressive. We haven't acted aggressive towards. She was like super nice to us and offered us a drink. But now she's like, I don't know. She presses her tongue against her cheeks and lips. Well, I'm not sure. He was bringing me news or delivering my messages. Sold me some stuff. Sometimes bought a thing or two. His life wasn't really that riveting. Just another mug guzzler sitting in the corner, patching his clothes. Did he sell you anything unusual? She stares at you without blinking. Such as what? Something that hints to where he went. I'll tell you if I think of anything. You don't sound especially bothered by his disappearance. You see me as someone eager to make friends with a vagabond? I'll take it as a compliment to my skills as a tavern keep. Folks come and go, their faces disappear, friends die in my arms. She pauses. Families fade away. There was a different Roadwarden years ago, and there's another one now. But there's only one Foggy in the north, and one Illin. that slow son of mine, and one creaks. I have only so many tears to spare. We'll return to this later. Maybe. Once our souls are too restless to stay quiet, but now go ahead, enjoy your drink. You raise the cup to your nose. You smell flowers, yeast, and hops. The liquid is golden on the edges, but resembles red amber in the center. It's as thick as an herbal medicament. You take a look at your companion, seeking a hint of what's expected of you. In some places, people gulp down their mead, but your vessel allows you to appreciate the aroma. The huge keeper smiles and takes a sip. You follow her lead, allowing the drink to pass your lips. It's warm, hiding none of its subtleties. Drinking mead is a never-ending conflict between holding the taste in your mouth and saving yourself from the tormenting sweetness of honey. Yet the flavors of flowers are just as present, too difficult to capture just yet. Foggy leans forward with an elbow resting on the table. Well, for me, it's a lazy day. At least the rains spare us, so nicely holding off till the evenings. One question I have about this is, historically, the sweetness of honey, like when you like ferment something, the yeast consumes the sugar. Like, right? But was it common that they would ferment the honey to make mead, but they would stop the fermentation before whatever the yeast had consumed all of it, so it's less alcoholic and still kind of sweet. I don't know. But anyways, what's the story behind this place? It can't be more than a few years old. It's our third summer under the roof of Foggy Lake, but the palisade is older. Used to be a camping spot for the bird catchers from creeks. And there are fish here that don't swim in our streams. When we were but newcomers in the north, these lands were hard to bend, but the beast got used to us with time. A melancholy crawls into her eyes. She observes the mead in her cup. Every year or so we added something new. The rocks for a campfire, some stools, a fence, a firewood shed, a boat. At one point we brought the lumber from White Marshes and built a cabin. Oh, she pronounces it with a capital H. Like the one at the Eastern Road. More folks started resting here, even traders from Gale Rocks and Old Pagos. A plenty fine spot for an inn, eh? Her smile is warm. I'm building my home from nothing, you could say, and not for the first time. How about you? Does any of it sound tempting? That's the dream, a place far away from Hovloven, somewhere where I can rest after a day's work without an aching back. My home is wherever I can find kind people. That's something I can ask myself after I've saved some dragon bones. You speak my own words, love, my own words. You have a good home here in the north. Not a safe one, not a fun one, but there's plenty of food and plenty of things to build. I'm already luckier than most. She looks at the place where her missing arm used to be. How do you say safe from the beast? You're completely open from the lake. Quick legs, love. I should have run from the foxes. I didn't realize that foxes can just kill you. Jeez. Her brief yet thunderous laughter makes you flinch. We don't leave any food outside, but our cauldron smells. Every now and then something scary shows up. We lock ourselves in here, for days if we have to. Our windows help us keep an eye on the yard. Better than not leaving the hamlet to goblins. You mentioned that having no wall from the lakeside is quite a risk. She nods in agreement and takes another sip. We don't bring children and old folks around, but this part of the peninsula is not so bad, at least in sunlight. Not much food growing or running around unless you can live on fish and birds. And the folks of creeks are great hunters, the greatest around. But isn't there a harbor in the city as well? How'd you keep the creatures away? Was it they're used to avoiding Hovloven, however you pronounce that? They mostly stay in the water? Every now and then something large shows up? People learn to run away and leave it to the soldiers? It's actually the flying beasts that bother us. Well, I don't know. I like the idea that they show up in the streets or something. She asks you to tell her more, then taps her chin. Still safer than living in villages, I'd say. Every other season a hunter or a farmer lands on a pyre or disappears into the fogs. But a place of this size should have a way to stay stronger. I lived in the capital before the invasion. Having things in such state would make folks revolt. What brought you north? You don't look like someone who spends their life cleaning tables. Once you burn enough dead friends and relatives, clean tables start to look plenty tempting. She leans forward and takes another look at her bottle, sealing it with an approving nod. My ma and pa were both big and strong. One time they saw me sitting on this kid, twisting his arm, so they started to teach me. Staff duels, running, lifting barrels, and rocks. Thankfully, the army chieftain said I wasn't disciplined enough. She rubs the scars on her forehead. So I did a lot of things. Escorted some merchants, joined a group of adventurers, hunted for bounties, guarded a village temple. The last memory makes her voice gloomy. Not all these things make me proud of myself. She smells the meat in her cup, but doesn't take a sip. I moved here only after I lost my arm, when the folks were fleeing the invasion. I took my Illin, a casket of dragons, and joined a more organized group. Arm or not, I still have a fierce punch. She lets out a pleased grunt. I was worth keeping around. Her voice can't hide that she's delighted to carry on with her tale. Now that the years are catching up with me, and even more so with my back, I need to build myself a decent shelter. I crave no adventures, but I'm happy to hear stories from other restless souls. In the meantime, I'll practice this little trick. She points at the cauldron in the middle of the room and starts to make circles with her finger. The ladle mimics the movement, mixing the stew for another minute or two. That's also good for my back. Your name's Foggy, and this is Foggy Lake. Is the tavern named after you or after the lake? The lake is no name. She moves her cup away and leans forward, resting her elbow on the table. Her voice is playful, warm. But there will be stories about this place, believe me, and about passing by the lake while getting the foggies. I may not be a dragon slayer or a holy woman, but one way or another my soul will live on in my name, tied to these walls. She looks at you in silence, then bursts into laughter. You could swear she makes the jars shake. I'm plenty fine being vain. I just smile. After an awkward pause, Foggy smiles back at you. Well, I didn't. I'm not going to stare at her while smiling. Okay, beasts that you hunt. Oh, I hunt for nothing, she smirks. Not since I lost my arm, and the boys outside are not made for it either. They've no drive to fight, you see, and grew up to be wimps. They sometimes club down a hare, but we're all about foraging and bird traps now. The folks in creeks do the real hunting, she adds after a pause. Runners, mouflons, rats, sometimes a buffalo or a saurian. We've no soil for fields, so game meat's all we have left. She stretches out, getting even taller. Do you hunt often? I guess I'll say, yeah, sometimes I set up traps. I don't risk facing big game. Anything bigger than a fox. That's, I'm no match. That's hardly a hunt, is it? She leans forward, chuckling. Picking up a dead bird from a loop is not the same as pushing away a warm corpse that was just pinning you down to the ground. Like they hunt in a way where they wrestle with the... She looks toward the open window shutters. Not the same, but probably smarter. A friend of mine was a real huntress for a year or so. I nod to the spot where her right arm should be. Any story there? She leans back, moving her shoulders and chest up and down as if she's having a soundless chuckle. Not one I'm gonna share with a newcomer, dear. Stay alive until next autumn. I'll open a cask of cold cider and tell you quite a tale. It has treason, treasure, monsters, and dark spells, but I'm way too sober for it now. She grabs her cup. Her wink turns into an awkward blink. Wait, you can move things with your thoughts? Why would that be something I say? Dark spells? Okay. Let's change the topic? Let's do that. Let's just do. She asks if you have everything you need. Let's see if she'll buy something I got. And I may be willing to buy them, love. Select an item you would like to offer. The berry picking hook or a jar of troll's urine. This is perfect. I want to get rid of this. She narrows her eyes. Well, don't open it. I've seen it before in the hands of that wayfarer. She waves her hand. I'll give you 4 dragons, no more. Goblins are pests, but they stick to the south. Deal. Good. I need that money. And what about, I need to get rid of this berry picking hook. I don't need this, but that's a nice claw. She raises it to the beam of light. Pebblers? It must have lost it in the woods. I'd put it maybe there. She points at a shelf with her chin. 3 dragons. More than fair. Deal. Good, we needed that. What do you have for sale? Now you're talking, she grins. Well, I could serve you some of my cooking. Not food rations, mind you. Need what we can save for the winter season. Let's say you give me a dragon in return, I'll cook for you 4 times. You just need to ride up when you're hungry, and other than that, you won't take any wood or stone. You won't take any wood or stone, are you? Seeing your shrug, she waves it off and heads toward the trapdoor. After a minute, she shows up with a sack that clangs after every step. I can sell you some scraps. She pulls out a couple of iron clasps, nails, and broken steel blade. A value trash. We found them while foraging. We don't have a furnace in Creeks, but you could sell these bits and pieces to someone else. She observes you for a moment, then shrugs. Let's discuss the price. So, fresh meals and the iron scraps. Yeah, I'll get the fresh meals. But, I mean, I only have 8. I do want the iron scraps, because I feel like... Yeah, I'll get both. Just buy both. You know what? Live life. Don't be too conservative with it. What about I'd like to eat? I mean, my nourishment isn't too low, though. I'm going to maybe wait till the evening. I'm looking for work? I somehow doubt you're here to forage for me, love. Not that I have any room for another soul. Let me think. She runs her eyes over the shelves and the trophies, but it's the rocks surrounding the fireplace that catch her attention. The folks at Old Pagos are weirdly quiet. They're supposed to drop 2 wagons of rocks at my place. Can you check on them? Just find out if they're fine. You mentioned the payment. It won't take much work from a rider. You can get there and back in less than a day. Just ride west of here until the road takes you south to the crossroads. Turn west again and you'll find the village. I'll give you, let's say, a dragon bone. You say that it's not much, but she waves it off. The Roadwarden should get familiar with all the villages anyway, right? Just do it when you have a chance. I'll have more coins for you once you prove you can be trusted with the simpler tasks. What can you tell me about Old Pagos? Wait, I thought that... she's saying turn west again. Ride west of here until the road takes you south to the crossroads. Turn west again, and that's where you'll find the Old Pagos. I tried that. Or maybe I didn't. Oh, I went west from Howler's Dell. No, I'm positive we went west. And it was blocked. And now the map doesn't... Something was... What was there? Something was blocked. Maybe we didn't. I don't know. Okay. What can you tell me about Old Pagos? It may be one of the oldest villages in the north, but even if not, it's safe, with strong walls and safe roads. Their crops are weak, but for generations now they've been cutting stone and building for other tribes in exchange for supplies. Some time ago they tied themselves to the monks, and now they don't look too kindly on those who don't follow the orders of truth. She pauses, twisting her lips to one side, choosing her words carefully. They're plenty fine folks, true believers. Something lost in the city. Not ones to deal in slave trading and pillage. I'll let you know if I learn anything. What can you tell me about the peninsula? She nods. I know this and that. Which place? Oh my god, sometimes there's too much information here. What place are you asking about? What was it called? The White Marshes. That's what I want to know. It's an old village placed among the bogs in the west. Not so far from here, but the road there leads around the woods, so it takes a good while. She rubs her chin. I'm sure you already know about the Walton. I don't like what the folks there are doing. Not one bit. But I can't blame them. They struggle and they don't know how to protect their kids, their elders. Laurentius, their priest. She cracks her shoulders. A quiet man, He preaches like a zealot, always looks like he's on the verge of crying. She opens the door with a wave of her hand, letting in some fresh air. She looks at the lake. They used to trade in lumber from those marshes until Howlersdale started selling their own trees for better prices. The trade to marshes died, and so came the hunger. She looks at you with an unclear grimace on her lips. You may judge them, but at least their preacher gave them hope, even if it's tied to black magic. All right, thanks. That's all. She smiles. What else, dear? I heard there are some bandits in the north. She makes an annoyed grimace. What can I tell you, dear? You know how it goes. Lost souls need a new path after an awfulness finds them. But the years go by and it doesn't get any easier. One day they take a pile of firewood, another some bread, and another one some bread and clothes. After they start hurting folks, there's no way back, even if they're not at all cruel. You ask her some more, but she's reluctant to give you straightforward answers. You don't have to worry about Glaush's band. They hunt, sometimes to take this or that, scavenge after folks who get jumped by beasts. But she never tried to threaten my place. You're safe here. And why would they try to bother a Roadwarden? She may be right. Some bandits are just desperate. Okay. I still have some time, so... Could I spend a night or two under your roof? She approaches a window above the table and looks outside. Your beast won't make it easy for us, dear. She places her hand on the shutters. It's not a city inn. I don't cook for a smile. I don't work to feel noble. I allow folks to lie down there for free. She points to the bare fur with her broad chin. But that's about it. If your horse stays outside, it'll lure the beast to us. But if we move it here, upstairs, it'll leave its droppings on my floor. She gets annoyed, even by the idea of it happening. If you want to rest here, love, be ready to either pay with a coin or some food rations. Or to spend the night keeping your mount quiet and clean after it in the morning, will you? She steps away. Okay. Time for me to go. I approach the foragers. Oh, I could wash myself in the lake. Yes. You enter the bridge and move to its edge. Somewhere below you, you notice a glimmer. Hey, you! Step back! Run! Without even thinking, you leap toward the yard. A long, teeth-filled mouth breaks the water surface, splashing it in every direction. It bites the empty place where you were just standing, while the front limbs, thick, scaled, and ending with claws as large as your fingers, land on the wood. Once the saurian's yellow eyes notice that you're outside its reach, it nonchalantly slides into the lake. You hear laughter coming from the yard. The large forager who's wearing leather was running with help, but now stands with hands on his thighs, cackling without rest. The man in black fur, on the other hand, looks at you with worry. You see a hand kept beneath his cloak as if he was reaching for something. What are you doing, eh? The lake isn't for outsiders. I gasp for air and thank them for the warning. I'll stay away, don't you worry. He just nods and gestures for his companion to cut it. They both move toward the gate. I approach the foragers. Once the man in black fur hears your steps, he nudges his companion and nods toward you. They put away the old noose traps they were trying to fix, proper for hares and small birds. The tall one spreads his arms, thundering his loud welcome. A Roadwarden, eh? I guess we're going to see each other a lot. I'm Illin, and this shorty here is... What is it with fantasy stories and impossible to pronounce names? The shorty here is Tzvi. What is that? What sort of consonant cluster is Tzvi? Oh my god, don't make me pronounce that over and over again. The man in the black fur looks up, frowning. There's also the one-handed man you saw in the attic. Unlike the rest of the staff, he has an unkempt beard and worn clothes made of blue fabric patched with scraps of flour sacks. He's looking down to examine a trap, but his shoulders are slumped, eyes absent. Illin doesn't introduce him. Garrett, nice to meet you. Illin smiles. Were you at Pelts of the North yet, friend? He blushes. How is Dalit doing? Is that the one with yellow armor? She's well, seems to keep the whole crew together. That's her. A lively color, eh? Yellow? He smiles, but you catch a hint of envy in his voice. Better say hi to her for us. Her boss was looking for hard drinks and healing potions. I wish I could have helped her. He glances at his companion, who's currently observing a column of ants running alongside the palisade. They were offering good prices, and she was really good at dice, and told us about so many monsters. Tzv adjusts his black cloak. Our traps won't fix themselves. What brings you to us? Ilan frowns at this interruption, but says nothing. What's your plan? I could use some work. Tzv nods and Ilan's voice gets even louder. Glad to hear that. There's hardly any fruits left around here. And even fewer mushrooms, so we're planning to do some bird catching, a hunt without killing. Maybe not today, but in 5 days, maybe a bit later. What do you say? Why do you need my help with the birds? Don't you just let them into traps? Oh, hey, Yuha, what's up? Welcome in. We're just playing some Roadwarden. Why do you need my help? Ilan glances at the cords used for snares. These won't do. We want to catch a runner this big. He raises his muscular arm and stops it maybe a foot above his head. And bring it here, alive. We want its meat for later. The man with one hand interrupts him. His voice is weak but disdainful. Beasts ought to be dealt with, not tamed. Bonding with monsters brings only death. He has the accent of the city folk, same as yours. Will bring us full bellies in winter, squawks Tzv. How much do you pay? I mean, it may be a scary trip, but it won't take that long, Ilan shrugs. Just show up here at noon or before it. We'll be back in a few hours. You'll get 5 dragons, 2 if the bird dies. That's a good price for one afternoon, eh? Can't leave my horse behind. Oh, I wouldn't worry about it. Ilan waves a hand just like his mother. The idiot will take care of it. The one-handed man starts to object, but a harsh shut up from Tzv makes him sigh. His shoulders sag. Ilan goes on. He's a loony, and would stumble over his own feet on a trip. But does what he needs when told to, and you know he won't steal it. He hates animals. What's your plan exactly? Ilan grabs a rope and shakes it in front of you. We'll catch its neck. Your part would be to keep it from running. Don't hurt it. Just make it busy enough for us to surround it. This all sounds really dangerous. That's why we want you to do the rough part, Tzv smirks. We're just foragers. A Roadwarden knows how to fight, eh? At least it's on its own without its flock. Look, I got completely owned by a small group of foxes. So I'm not ready to catch this giant animal. What are you going to do with your catch? We'll tether it to the palisade for a day or two, then take it to the creeks. Our tribesfolk have enough space to look after it through autumn. Maybe it'll drop a few eggs? Even if not, it's fresh food. I feel like I could use better equipment. Well, you shouldn't need weapons for it, friend, but you may look for something worthwhile in Howler's Dell. Ilan points west. Akakios is all about trade, not much for idle talk, but he sells things for all his folks. You're putting me in front of a large beast just for 5 dragons? That's bullshit. You haggle for a bit, while Ilan gets easily convinced. It's Tzv who cuts your conversation short. Even if his voice is croaky, it's also firm. You'll get 8. Ask for more and we'll do better buying food in Howlers. Is there a problem with supplies in creeks? They exchange looks. Maybe, admits Tzv, but not big enough to make us pay you more. Fine, I'll be back in 5 days. Ilan grins. Do so. We still need to prepare, and you better do so as well, but don't make us wait for long. Let's not test the bird's patience. Just come one day before afternoon. Do you know Tulia? The man gives you a surprised glance, but then looks down and crosses his arms, holding his hand under his shoulder. I'm a new man now. There's nothing that ties me to the army. You've crossed a great part of this land, greater than most. Have you seen anything unusual? He takes a deep breath. His voice is close to a whisper. There's fog in my soul. I was on the Eastern Road, hungry and sick, praying for the right to send its beasts on me and save me from the pains of living. I remember the touch of fur and the breath on my neck, the claws pinning me to the ground. I was waiting with my eyes closed. Then I woke up in the middle of the night, still feeling. I got back on my feet, walking until I reached the lights of this tavern, without so much as a bruise. Foggy may have no faith in her heart, but the right used her kindness to give me a second chance. Ilan frowns at the man's words, and there's cautiousness in his voice. He may be crazy, but it's true he came here after midnight, raving. Maybe the monsters don't like his scent. So you forgot everything? He hides a stump in the palm of his hand and curls up. I've seen a dragon eating a tree, an ape that tore away the head of a monstrous cat, and a wolf without fur that was as quick as lightning. Now leave me alone, evil spirit. Let my shame rest. He's shaking. Let him be, eh? Tzv grunts at you. Nothing wrong about a man trying to forget. Ilan rubs his chin. A furless wolf friend? I've heard about one. Our tribesfolk saw it in the heart of the woods. A nasty beast. Let's hope it won't find a mate for breeding. It charges at you like a runner and jumps right at your throat. He touches his neck, so even the hunters stay away from it. Too bad we've no crossbows. He raises his wooden club. Aye, better to avoid the deep woods without one. Okay. Yeah, we don't have a crossbow. Would you have travelers here? Ilan's voice is like thunder. Nah, you may very well be the last one this season. Sometimes a group of adventurers, who knows why, and southern traders in spring and autumn. Most of our visitors are from the villages, usually creeks and gale rocks. They leave goods at our place, or just outside, and my ma barters in their name with the others. I mean, rocks, timber, furs, and barreled fish can wait a few days. They won't be ready to start the hunt for 5 more days. Caius seems to be too on edge to speak anymore. He won't tell me about his visions. What can you tell me about the peninsula? Tzv lets out a sigh. Not much to see here, eh? Trees, rocks, ponds. I've never been in Howlers. He starts, but then Ilan chips in. I have a couple of times. A nice place, kind folk, lots of grain. They've but one trader, Akakios. He pays poorly, but at least doesn't waste one's time. Gets straight to the point, see? He thinks for a bit. And they're all so tall. Twice as tall as he is. He points at Tzv, who frowns and squeaks back at him. Bullshit. You gossip for the next few minutes, but the things they share with you are of little use. They end up saying that you should talk with Foggy instead. She used to travel a lot and speaks with every visitor. All right, I walk away. Wait, should I talk to Foggy again? I don't feel like there was anything more. I can travel. I got 8 hours. So why don't we do that? I don't even know where I'm supposed to go. Maybe I could go this way. I know I'm supposed to go up here, but the game kept pushing me this way. So I'm going to try to go northwest as much as I can. You follow the road spread between the hills and lonely trees until you reach a solid wooden bridge not older than a generation. You ride uphill, but Duskrunner manages to keep up. What? You ride uphill, but Duskrunner manages to keep up? Wait, but I'm riding Duskrunner, right? It makes it sound like Duskrunner's following me. Okay, I'm just trying to visualize what's going on here. Don't overthink it. The dark woods in the south are behind a gently humming creek, while the forest on your right was trimmed by the locals. It's a peaceful journey, at least for some time. After a few minutes, you spot a group of wolves feasting on a fallen furry beast, maybe a Wyzant. One of them looks toward you, and we ride a bit faster, probably the right decision there. The road fades into an old tunnel. There are no signs of mining, no signposts, no human voices. The ceiling is supported by wooden beams, but the light only reaches so far. The chilling wind mercilessly bends the few lonely trees, while the shrubs oppose the weather patiently. The side path leading west is somewhat maintained, and you find both boot prints and cart tracks. It leads higher into the mountains. I tether Duskrunner to the tree, then enter the tunnel. Oh, this is not gonna be good. Your mount observes the area anxiously, so you stay for a moment to give it a good scratch under its neck and say some confident-sounding rubbish. You unpack all the things you need to make a new simple torch. A log, some old rugs, a bit of oil. You grab your tinderbox and sit on the ground for a couple of minutes, preparing the flint and the linen char cloth. Decades ago, before the southern invasion, people used fire strikers made of thick steel, but all you have is a cube-like piece of harsh pyrite. Not the best, but it's enough to make a couple of sparks. Yeah, I've already read that earlier. It was the same. It was the same text at the, I don't know, the crossing with the insects. Oh, this is not good. For a few minutes, you follow a fairly straight corridor. The timber supporting the ceiling is decaying, but you don't spot any signs of collapse. The floor is littered with bones and rotting food, most likely dragged in here by wild beasts, but there are also signs of soot above you and boot prints left on the dried mud. You reach the crossroads and stop in place. There's no sconce in sight, so you'd have to constantly carry the torch or lose it for good, and it won't last long for anyway. The draft is hardly noticeable, so you look for an exit in the dark. So looking for an exit in the dark could be dangerous. Oh, I could use some pneuma to explore the tunnel. Why not? A simple magic trick should give me enough light. Boom. You lean the torch against the wall, letting it mark the spot. Then you draw both your axe and one of your oldest amulets, a pendant made of leather and a single dim pearl. The little sphere is covered by cryptic engravings, but if there's any special meaning behind them, you've never been able to find out what that could be. You bite into the strap, sense the pleasant, familiar warmth, then press the blade with your open palms. After a minute of repeating the simple incantation, the pearl in your weapon start to glow. And I get to pick what color? For sure, let's go purple. It covers the walls with a pulsating, uneasy light. Its rhythm and strength keep changing, and you feel tingling in your fingers. Your lips catch a rotten aftertaste, so you surround the pendant with a cloth, then put it back in your satchel. I go deeper. Hold on, I need a water break. Oh. Dude, this game wears out my voice. I've never had to talk so much playing a game. Oh, the road ahead is like the one you just crossed, a human-carved straight corridor supported with beams, while the other paths are curved and narrow. The only light comes from the exit, minutes away from here. What do I do? I'll turn right. The corridor is unlike the others, taller and more rounded, with claw marks on the walls. It leads you to a chamber with a ceiling supported by a single beam. There's also an abandoned cart, the fence of an animal pen, and a few long sticks and planks. You take a glance at the new exit. It leads slightly upward and looks a bit like stairs. I search the room. You find no cash or boxes, and the cart's empty. Wait, that's what you get for playing a text-based game in stream, Vlad? I know. I'm regretting it. Why? I should have just picked a game that I could just zone out, all right? The one thing that draws your attention are the planks and logs themselves. They're in decent shape, flexible, though too moist to be worth carrying out of the cave. They could be turned into a new door, or maybe a table. I climb the stairs. You flinch after the light touches the resting bone, but nothing tries to jump at you, and you hear no shuffling feet. You step forward and take a closer look at the remains of the massive creature. It used to be 2 times as long as your palfrey, 3 if you were to count the hind limbs. It resembles a bear, but its skull has no sharp teeth and is of a different shape. I take a closer look at the skeleton. The ribs of the creature are as long as your own trunk. My own trunk? What's my trunk? Is that like my torso? Though the age makes them brittle, you observe the long legs, horse-like head, and the massive stomach. You can't tell if you've ever seen such a beast alive, but surely not its trophies. A part that's uniquely sharp are the creature's claws. They could pierce 2 sides of your skull at once. As curved as a war pick and as heavy as an axe. And the marks on the walls perfectly match them. While impressive, they're too old and awkward to be turned into tools. Okay. I can't scavenge at least a claw or a tooth off of this creature. I mean, that would be cool. All right. I leave the chamber. I move forward. You forge ahead for another few long minutes, no longer able to see the light from the exit. You need to stand on someone's shoulders to touch the ceiling. So far, you could ride through the tunnel without getting out of the saddle. The sound of a stream is reaching you from ahead. This time, there are no side paths. Okay, examine the tunnel. Spend a few minutes walking back and forth. Here, the wooden support is denser, with more beams both on the walls and on the ceiling. The trash, on the other hand, is sparse, and you find nothing of use. The animal trails turn back to the entrance with the exception of the human-like bony prints. I move forward. The stream has formed a wide pond. You stab it in a few spots, but it turns out to be only a finger or two deep. There's no sign of a bridge. So this is like an underground pond? I crouch and take a closer look, and a saurian jumps out. It's clean, but the dark rocks and the lack of light camouflage its soft sand-like bed. You find a few fish bones and other remains, but with every step you disturb the settlement, further clouding the water. The water flows from your right to the left. Its trail is wide enough to follow, at least for a few steps, and so tall you can do so without crouching. I move forward. I want to keep... Yeah, I move forward. I want to, like, keep to the right and just follow my way through this tunnel. The open door to your right leads to a narrow corridor. You take a look further down the tunnel. A cave-in broke the timber, blocking the path forward. Look at the cave-in. Push away a few rocks, making them roll on the floor. But the blockade is at least a few steps deep. It would take an entire team of diggers to get through, if it's possible at all. You climb up a bit and peek through a larger hole, close to the ceiling. There's a weak light coming from the distant end of the tunnel. Okay. I walk through the door. To the right. It squeaks. The corridor resembles the interiors of a fortress, with flat, regular walls and a ceiling so low you couldn't ride through it. You reach another much larger chamber which seems to mimic the corridor style. The spoiled food and moldy planks make you hold your breath. Oh, there's actually like rotting food here, so it's pretty recent. The chamber used to serve as a dining spot with tables, chairs, shelves for mugs, and barrels of drinks, but all that's left are worms and mustiness. You don't see the furthest wall until you bring your light closer. The open door leads to a new natural cavern. Another closed door is in the corner of the room, opposite the one you came from. I searched the chamber. The place was abandoned in haste, but you find no signs of large creatures, bones, or destruction. The wood gives way only to time. Few of the barrels still contain liquids, though you wouldn't dare open them. Close to the exit leading to a cave, you find a hook with a simple iron key. You pick it up and it stains your hand with rust. I walk through the open door. Or I try to open the door in the corner? Let's do that. The door gives way. The next room is also too large for your light to reach all the corners at once. The empty shelves, chests, and spear racks give you no promise of a hidden treasure, but you also find a box with rusty nails, a cracked barrel in the corner, and a broken blade. You could spend some time collecting these and other iron scraps and sell them in the village. Yes. In the room's corner, you notice a wide sheet of moldy fabric that covers a large part of the wall. I collect the metal scraps. Having no useful tools at hand, you struggle to dismantle the barrel and cut away all the bits of wood that are attached to the pieces of iron and steel. After a while, you prepare a decent clanging sack. For now, you move it to the dining chamber and leave it by the exit. I examine the curtain. It's divided in the center, allowing you to draw it. Behind it, you find a tiny room, maybe 2 steps wide and 3 steps deep. It's silent, not as humid. The wall ahead isn't like the others. It's covered with red and purple bricks. I look for anything unusual, probably important. The walls to your left and right bear a few iron hooks that could be used to hang cloaks, paintings, or trophies. The corners aren't too dusty, and there are no footprints on the floor. You inspect the brick wall further. In its center, at chest height, I feel like I'm losing my voice. Is doing all of those accents, apparently. I don't know. You inspect the brick wall further. Its center, at chest height, you spot a distinctive engraving. It's a winged hourglass, about a finger long. I touch the shape of the hourglass with the pendant I own. Okay. This looks dangerous, but it's a match. You fit it into the grooves, then press. The brick moves deeper inside, then bounces back, allowing you to draw it out completely. In the secret compartment, you find a key made of bronze. It's as large as your forearm. That's the biggest key it's ever. Like, what? All right. No surprises in the armory. I return to the tiny room. Oh, no, not that. I go back to this room, and then I want to go through the door. The cave is so moist that the diggers placed planks on the ground, serving as a now useless bridge through the puddles. The rocks shaped like icicles ominously hang from the ceiling, in some spots merging with their on-the-floor counterparts and forming hourglass-like columns. You leave the rotten planks and explore the cavern carefully, making the light dance on the droplets and puddles. But you find nothing of use or value. I try to open the door. The door opens quietly and you return to the main tunnel. You could turn south again and see if there's anything you missed, but after you blink a few times, you realize there's a light at the opposite end of the tunnel, far ahead. It's weak and flickers like a torch. I hide my own light. You simply put it on the ground, in the entrance to the cavern with the stalactites. You'll pick it up if you need it. I move closer to the light. You put away your light and sneak forward. Well, I already put the light away. You pay attention to sounds and movements, but there's no crackling of a campfire, no wandering or chatter. You see a shape of a gate far in the distance. I try to get close enough to see who's responsible for the light. What about, I'm going to look for anything unusual first. Though you do so in almost complete darkness, you notice something blocking your boot. You crouch and touch the long cord stretched right above the ground, in a few spots holding pieces of wood and bone that are meant to make a sound if disturbed. You cut it carefully, putting the remains of the trap on the floor. Wait, what? I don't understand this. A trap? Okay, it's like a sound trap. And then, I'm glad I checked for that before going towards the light. Slowly but surely you reach the edge of the light, but don't dare to get any closer. The distinctive shadows belong to unmoving human-like shadows. What? The shadows belong to shadows? Is that possible? But they have no flesh on their necks and chests, only the bones. You move back. There may be 3 undead there, if not more. You could prepare some surprises in the tunnel to slow them down or even weaken them, but who knows how easy it would be to outsmart them. I better speak with someone who knows how to set traps. Okay. No, I am not shouting. I'm going to die if I try to engage the undead. Come on. I go back to the crossroads. But wait, do I have traps I can set? I consider putting a trap here. I lack the knowledge. I follow the long tunnel north. Oh, wait, that's where I just came. Okay, wait, never mind. I go back. This is the crossroads. I head south in the direction that I came from. Oh, okay, you reach the other side of the cave-in, getting a good view at its size. You find a new door here. It's a bit tilted, closed, and soggy. I open it. The small iron padlock won't budge. I try the key I found in the dining chamber. I take my axe and break through. I'll try the key. After a bit of wiggling, the padlock gives in. The door lets out a sigh, and you enter a humble cave that's been turned into a storeroom. Your light reveals crates, a pile of timber, a stack of rocks, and another of bricks. I search. You move the building materials aside, taking note of the somewhat dry timber. But the first thing of use you find are the tools stored in one of the crates. The crude axes, hammers, chisels, pickaxes, and digging bars are all old and made of rocks, antlers, and bones. Though they're worthless, you move a few of them closer to the tunnel. If necessary, you'll know where to find them. I walk outside. Oh, it was just a storeroom. I return to the crossroads. I head back to the cave with stalactites. I move back to the dining room. And not the armory, but I return to the main tunnel. Not the stream. Wait. Oh, that's the wrong one. Gosh. No. Oh, yeah, this was the stream here. I got confused. I follow the water. This is what I need to do. The corridors become less spacious after just a few steps. All right, Vlad, have a good one. Thanks for joining the stream. I'm not going to stream much longer. My voice is getting pretty tired. The corridors become less spacious after just a few steps, but you manage to take a good look around, moving both with and against the flow. The wet walls are home to worms, mold, and what looks like pale spiders, though with only 6 legs. Among the commotion, you spot a cave ear sticking out of the wall, a familiar though unfriendly mushroom, the creamy color distorted by your light. You grab your knife and cut away what seems like the least bug-infested chunk, and after wrapping it with a linen sheet, you wash your hands. The cave ear is used by some fighters to enhance their senses in combat. You may want to take it to an alchemist. Okay. I go as deep into the tunnel as I can. What? Oh, wait, I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go all the way there. I go back to Duskrunner. Wait. I feel like there was another tunnel I can go left, right? I turn left. Yeah, this is where I wanted to go. The air in the chamber is humid. The straw beds are covered with mold. The sagging racks are bending under their own weight, and the animal pelts on the floor release a terrible stench. You look under the furs and mattresses, letting out a cough after a cloud of spores and wet dust hits your face. Your gloves get sticky from touching all the odds and ends. You find only one thing of value, hidden in a rare dry bowl pushed to the side of a shelf. A tiny ring made of a bone. Not a coin, but a piece of jewelry. Still elegant with a distinguished carving of a fish on its top and scales on its side. Okay. I go back to Duskrunner. I probably seek shelter. What about this? It's too dangerous to stay here. The closest shelter is Foggy Lake. Let's go there. The room has been recently aired out. Foggy looks at you through a hole leading to the attic. She gets down, having only one arm doesn't seem to hinder her. She welcomes you with a gentle nod. Okay, well, I spoke with Caius. I wonder why did you decide to keep him around? Ha, do I need a reason? Her amused eyes get thoughtful as she looks at the ceiling. He came here as a poor soul in need, taught only how to use a spear and a shield. I know how it feels to have all that you're good at taken away from you. She straightens up and hits her chest with her fist. But so I know the new paths await us, with or without the help of others. Caius' legs may be buried in despair, but I'm ready to throw him a shovel once he asks for it. She pauses, then looks through the window. Though these fantasies of his won't help him ask anytime soon, they swallow his thoughts. Okay. I want to sleep. Wait, oh. Should I eat? I don't know if I... Okay, that's fine. It gave me +2. She stretches her outer arm and grabs a bowl. Give me a moment. You sit down at the clean table. After a moment, the keeper brings you a slice of roasted trout, a boiled egg, and a bowl of broad beans. It's already late, so you devour everything that's in front of you. Foggy mentions that you've already paid for another 3 meals. Okay. I think it's time to sleep. Wait, what if I try to sell something? Do I have anything? No, I don't have anything for her. Probably... Probably just this. Sleep in the main hall. Gotta save my money. As you prepare your belongings, you realize that the days are getting noticeably shorter. The closer you get to autumn, the less time you'll have before the beasts of the nights leave their lairs. For now, it won't be that bad, but I better make sure to not waste too many hours. Monstrous shouts wake you up. The night is bright, and from the window of the tavern you have a good look at the yard. A few massive dragonlings are exploring the courtyard, knocking over wooden tools with their tails, putting their noses in the buckets and underneath the stairs. You count 5 of them so far, but you can't see the entire area at once. One of them spots your look and moves closer. Still, it doesn't try to climb to the door, or maybe it's experienced enough to know it won't get through. I close the shutter slowly. Okay. This is good. I think this is where I'm gonna end the stream. I'm enjoying. Hey, well, let me go. Wait, if I press, we'll go to the main menu. Yeah, thank you guys for joining the stream again. We are making progress with Roadwarden. I feel I feel a little disappointed that my character just got completely owned by a couple foxes. But yeah, we'll see. I'm interested to see where the game is going, but at times I start to feel like it's a bit long-winded. Maybe that's also because I'm reading out loud, which makes it go a bit slower, but otherwise I do like the characterization and the details that go into building the scene and fleshing out the world in a really nice way. So, yep. I'll leave it there. And yeah, I should stream this more often, because if too much time goes by, I can't remember who is who or what quest was I working on. So, if I can, I'll try to stream tomorrow, Friday, as well. But I don't want to make that a promise. But if I do, I'll post it in the Discord, and you guys will know about it. Probably in the afternoon, evening. I mean, obviously, I don't know, not the morning. Sometime tomorrow, we'll probably do a stream. But yeah, thank you guys. Have a good rest of your Thursday. Happy New Year to everybody, 2025. And yeah, see you in the next one. Goodbye.